In this video, we're going to talk about one of the planet's most successful creatures, the crab. Seriously, they've conquered nearly every habitat on Earth, from the deep sea all the way to dry land. We're going to uncover their basic biology, their surprisingly complex social lives, and some facts that will totally change the way you see these 10-legged crustaceans. Okay, so here's what we'll be covering. First, we'll get into the fundamentals of what a crab actually is. Then, we'll check out their social lives and what they eat. After that, we'll explore how they survive and wrap it all up with 5 surprising facts you probably didn't know. Let's dive in. Alright, first up, what exactly makes a crab a crab? Let's break down the fundamentals. So, what makes a crab a crab? Well, it really just comes down to 2 things. A hard external skeleton, that's called an exoskeleton, and 10 limbs. But that first pair of legs isn't for walking. Nope, those are their powerful claws, or chelae, which they use for, well, pretty much everything, from eating to fighting. And the variety within this simple body plan is just astounding. And this slide just perfectly illustrates that diversity. You've got the tiny pea crab on one end, which is literally the size of a pea, and on the other, the absolutely massive Japanese spider crab, with a leg span that could be wider than a small car. It's an incredible range for a single animal group. So now that we know what they are, how do they actually live? You might be surprised by just how complex their social world can be. You might think of them as these solitary creatures, just scuttling along the beach all by themselves. And while they don't exactly form complex societies like, say, ants or bees, their lives are absolutely full of social interaction. You see, while a crab might live alone in its own little burrow, they often exist in these crowded neighborhoods, where communication and competition are key. They'll wave their pincers around to send signals, and male crabs will often fight to establish who's the boss. They're competing for everything, from the best hiding spots to access to female. So, with over 4,500 species of crabs scattered all across the globe, what in the world do they all eat to survive? The short answer is just about anything. Crabs are the ultimate omnivores. They'll eat plants like algae, they'll hunt for worms and shrimp, and they'll even prey on other, smaller crabs. They're also kinda nature's cleanup crew, scavenging on whatever they can find. And how do they find it all? They've got these special receptors on their antennae that let them literally smell chemicals in the water, leading them right to their next meal. Now, being a successful species means not just finding food, but also avoiding becoming food yourself. And as you can imagine, a lot of animals out there find crabs pretty tasty. That hard exoskeleton is their main line of defense, but it doesn't protect them from everything. Birds, sea turtles, octopuses, and big fish are all major predators. And then, of course, there's us. Humans are such a significant predator that crabs make up a full 20% of all marine crustaceans harvested from the sea each year. But you know, that hard shell also creates a really unique problem for the crab itself when it tries to grow. This whole process, called molting, is one of the most dangerous times in a crab's life. To get bigger, it has to completely back out of its old shell, and that leaves behind a soft, squishy new one. For up to a month, while that new shell hardens, the crab is incredibly vulnerable and pretty much has to hide from predators until its new armor is ready for action. Okay, let's look at a few more fascinating facts about these creatures. Here are 5 surprising truths you might not know about crabs. First up, remember that 20% figure? Well, that translates to 1.5 million tons of crabs caught for food by humans every single year. That's over 3 billion pounds. Second, the reproductive strategy is just incredible. A single female blue crab can produce up to 1 million eggs at once. And get this, she can store sperm for up to 2 years to fertilize them later. How crazy is that? Third, that classic sideways scuttle isn't universal. While a lot of crabs walk sideways because of the way their leg joints are structured, some can actually walk forwards and backwards. And some swimming crabs, like the blue crab, are amazing swimmers. Fourth, losing a limb isn't a total disaster for a crab. If a predator grabs a claw or a leg, the crab can just detach it on purpose to get away. It's called autonomy, and don't worry, the limb will grow back over the next year or so. And finally, many of the most famous crabs are actually imposters. Hermit crabs, king crabs, and even the ancient horseshoe crab. They all belong to different animal groups and aren't considered true crabs by scientists. So what all this shows is that crabs are just far more complex and varied than we often give them credit for. From their social battles to their incredible survival strategies, they really are true masters of adaptation. And with over 4,500 known species, it kind of makes you wonder, What other secrets are they still hiding just beneath the surface? All right, that is it for this video, everyone. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video.